Want a break from the ads? If you tap now to watch a short video.
Hello, I'm Jackson and I'm a financial expert.
I'm Jake and I'm a student expert on economy.
Welcome to the Student Expert Podcast, and today we will be having a very special guest. Please welcome Jacob Lewis.
Welcome, Jacob.
We are going to be talking about the issues of living wage in times of high inflation. Your opinion on the financial state of the world is what we will be asking here on episode 107.
All right, so we're going to be going over about how both sides of the issue.
Yeah, so what we should learn from history is that inflation can cause the living wage to skyrocket. 5 USD, you would be getting 175 quadrillion. It really shows how bad hyperinflation can be.
Yeah, for sure. And along with that, it's also strange to think about how much $1 bill would have been in the 90s.
Did you see it? On the left side of the doorframe, barely visible on camera, a white translucent mystery shape slowly creeps into frame. As
1970s. If we use the information from the inflation calculator, about $6.32 in 2017. In the 2017 study, we can clearly see that the inflation has caused. Oh my God! In the 2017 study, we can clearly see that inflation has caused In the 2017 study, we can clearly see that inflation has caused. In the 2017 study, we can clearly see that inflation has caused a massive recession. In the 2017 study, we can clearly see that inflation has caused a massive recession in the actual value of a $1 bill.
Another example from history was not...
Actually lose workers or have trouble maintaining workers of high skill. Problem of inflation.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
for sure.
Making enough money. Some companies talk about raising their minimum wage in 2020 during COVID. Most of the main fast food chains raised their minimum wage to $13, $15 an hour, which is obviously adjusted with inflation a little, but some of them actually are raising it so their employees can make a little bit more money.
By affecting wage, we raise the cost of goods, but for the wealthy side, they're usually the ones in control. All this information is from Betty Lynn Fisher. Shout out to her.
Yeah, the American dream can be harder to obtain in today's society because it's harder to build wealth and to make a good salary because of
while employees are not paid a good living wage that keeps up with inflation, the economy slows, and it's because the rich save the money, and there's such inequalities that in 1979, the bottom 90% brought in about 70% of the national income across the U.S., 60%. So it just shows the more inequality in the higher gap. So again, this comes from the lack of pay for workers, especially since 1973, where the hourly compensation growth has been about 15%, and the productivity growth is about 140% higher. So the productivity is skyrocketing, but the pay is staying relatively similar.
Yeah, along just trying to continue off that. If the money is not worth anything, it is.
Did you see it? On the left side of the doorframe, barely visible on camera, a white translucent mystery
to buy groceries, gas for cars. The fear of inflation is imparting a The fear of inflation is imparting a deflationary bias to the global economy that could result in a worldwide recession within a year. But we do not know what it looks like if inflation goes up tremendously. This quote is coming straight from the source from whitehouse.com. Efficient condition for it to accelerate as it did in the 1970s.
Did you see it? On the left side of the doorframe, barely visible on camera, a white translucent mystery shape slowly creeps in.
Yeah, so in the Case for Living Wages article from Anna Barford, we see about 660 million people are being paid the equivalent to three, let alone a family. So it should be an obligation to human rights to pay a real living wage. Wages are higher, workers have much more motivation to work, and they do their job better rather than just the bare minimum. If you don't get paid a lot, you don't have motivation.
Did you see it? On the left side of the doorframe, barely visible on camera, a white translucent mystery.
Higher skill levels, so you can have better workers come in and work for your company. And so even just being a positive light for your community if you're a small business
Yeah, like when inflation starts ramping up a lot, the value of money starts going, and the housing market is a very big. So we don't know what it would look like if this inflation was in America, but it could lead to a depression.
Yeah. So, some experts from West Health, they've developed some ideas for potential bills. They've gone up recently 20%. So, yeah. So he suggests that the government should fund homes. So homeownership for millennials is projected to be much lower than it used to. So the reason for this is rising costs in rent and homes and with health care. He says that hospitals should be giving clear costs and different treatment plans so people can pick and choose what they think would be best for them. It showed that 1 in 4 Americans skipped on medical care because of the really high prices.
Did you see it? On the left side of the doorframe, barely visible on camera, a white translucent mystery shape slowly creeps into frame.
Where she says, the goodness of the whole depends on the well-being of each individual part, which I think is just great. Because, it just shows we can't truly have shalom without equality for everybody.
He said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's. This verse explains how we should pay our dues to the government.
Thank you, Jacob, for coming out.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah. Thanks, audience, for listening. We hope you learned something.